Hello my friends, it's time for another Good to Know Monday tip. Today's video tip I titled, The Greatest Level of Pleasure Comes from Helping Others Achieve Their Success and Destiny. An exciting principle lies behind this truth. There are many levels of pain and pleasure out there. For example, feeling a sense of humiliation, which can be a rather intense form of emotional pain. There's also when you feel a sense of inconvenience. This too is a form of emotional pain. So is boredom. Each of these forms of pain come with less intensity, of course, but they still factor in the equation when it comes to our decision making. In the last couple of Good to Know Monday tip videos, I focused on how to create lasting change by linking pain and pleasure to those things we want to do or that we don't want to do. How we do this either helps us or it hinders us in achieving the lasting change we all want to accomplish. These feelings of pleasure and pain and the power they produce weighs into this process of decision making big time. Much of our drive in life comes from our anticipation that our actions will lead us to a more compelling future or more fulfilling future. We think that today's work will be well worth the effort that we're going to give to our dream because we think it will make us happy when it happens. And we think that the rewards, the pleasure in other words, are soon to be had. The levels of pleasure, however, depend on an individual's perspective. Some people would drop everything to stop and listen to an orchestra playing a beautiful piece of Beethoven, while others of us might plug our ears because the idea of enduring that kind of music equals a level of pain we don't want to endure. All of us are constantly weighing our own proposed actions and the impact that those actions and decisions will have on us. Again, it's all in how and what we think and link to that brings us either to pain or pleasure. These principles lead to the law of linkage, which says what we link pain to and what we link pleasure to shapes our destiny. Here's an example. I personally link incredible pleasure to reading something about the mind, our three minds, starting with the conscious mind. I love to take notes as I read the books and watch videos about this topic. I love writing in the margins of the pages of these books and circling the points I find to be fantastic or exciting. And while I watch videos on this subject, I love to write down my own thoughts, stop the video and write some thoughts and then continue on my notepad. Learning about how the mind works and what shapes human behavior and asking myself, where do our thoughts and emotions come from, has helped to attract virtually everything I wanted to have in my life. It's been exciting. It's become an absolute pleasure for me to do the work needed to learn what I've learned. The thoughts that have come to me as a result of doing the work and all the study that I've had to do on the subject has taught me how to turn the painful work into a work of true pleasure. Learning to unlock the secrets of this principle can help us become more healthy, feel better physically, and connect more deeply with the people we love. The right kind of thinking towards this principle actually becomes the key to achieving lasting change in our lives. Jim Rohn once said, one person caring for or about another represents life's greatest value and the ultimate source of real, lasting pleasure. The truth is, sharing what you've learned and feel deeply passionate about with others to help them improve their lives is the most powerful form of pleasure there is out there. When you come to accept this as truth and know that you take ownership of it, when you share what you have learned with other people so that it can truly improve the quality of their lives, it is the ultimate level of pleasure. When you experience the moment when this level of pleasure happens, that's when you truly discover your life's purpose. It all comes back to what we link pain to and what we link pleasure to. For a lot of people, their drive to achieve comes from their compulsion to avoid the pain of being seen as second best, for example, at anything. And that's because for them, second best equates to failure. Of course, having the mindset, they risk sabotaging their long-term lasting success. But it does seem to be true for a lot of people. For these folks, the fear of experiencing this kind of pain is far more powerful of a motivator than using their desire to gain pleasure as the motivator. By contrast, let's consider Mother Teresa. She was a woman who cared deeply for others, so much so that she constantly saw their pain and she suffered with them. Seeing the injustice of the caste system wounded her. When she took action to help these people, their pain disappeared and so did hers. For her, Pleasure came from wading through knee-deep muck, sewage, and filth so that she could reach a squalid hut where she could then minister to the infants and the children within the hut, even hugging those with leprosy. Oh man, she was powerfully driven by the sensation she got from helping these people out of their misery. And in the process, it helped alleviate her own pain. By helping them experience life in a better way, it gave her pleasure. It gave her a sense that her life now had true meaning and purpose. There's that purpose again. So again, I come back to the question, what are some of the experiences of pain and pleasure that have shaped your life? For those individuals who have linked pain or pleasure to taking drugs, for example, it most certainly has affected their destiny. So has the emotions they've learned to associate to it, or by linking to it the things such as cigarettes, alcohol, and even concepts like giving to others and trusting others. It's all about the linking. What motivators have you learned to link to pain and pleasure to? At some level, a good parent often needs to come to the knowledge that they can't change what their children have associated or linked pleasure to, such as drugs and beer and other potentially destructive behaviors. They need to learn how to give their children an experience they won't forget, one that will help them link pain to these destructive vices and not pleasure. To have an intellectual association to something is quite different than an emotional association. Emotional associations are those associations that guide one's future decision. That's for sure. When we develop painful neural associations, or what I call emotional mapping, to ideas such as using drugs, drinking alcohol, or whatever, we usually won't even consider using them ever. So if we can help them link massive pain to any behavior or emotional pattern or feelings, we will usually avoid indulging it at all costs. That's what they'll do. And therefore, by using this understanding to harness the force of pain and pleasure, we can literally change virtually anything in our lives. This force becomes an extremely powerful tool, even a secret weapon for achieving success. Now, before I let you go, let me take just a moment to invite those of you who haven't taken advantage of my offer to be a guest on a private coaching call with me on my nickel, no cost to you. Go ahead and make the decision now to take up that offer, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. I love coaching beginner entrepreneurs, just like you, on how to start and launch a business successfully. And I'd be extremely honored to spend some time with you coaching you personally one-on-one on your goals, your desires, and your questions about business and fears or whatever. In the Good to Know Monday tip email I sent you that had this video picture on it, you clicked on it and to watch it, I included a link that says free coaching call with Coach B. Go ahead and click on it and set up your free private coaching call with me, and do it now. Do it. It will help you take control of your future and to take those steps that would take you on to the next level. I promise I won't pressure you to become a member of my beginner entrepreneur community or to become a client of mine. That's just that's not my style. In fact, I bet you that you'll come away saying to yourself, man, that was really pretty good. I really enjoyed that. So, okay. I'm done with the invitation, and so until next Monday, when I'll send out a new Good to Know Monday tip, I think I've just absolutely enjoyed the last 2 or 3 topics that we've been talking about, so we can establish a lasting change in our lives, and I hope you've enjoyed them too. But until next Monday, I want to wish all of you continued success. Goodbye.